Ganesha and Narasimha for removing blockages, for receiving our obstacles for our own safety and shelter, and to Narasimha for protection and divinization. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ekdantaya Vimahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladalabadaine Hiranyah Kashi Purvakshaha Shilatankana-kalaye Ito Narasimha Parto Narasimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Narasimho Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimho Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye Kavakamalavari Nakamabhutashringham Dalitahi Ramyakashiputano Bringham Keshavadrihata Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. Om Dupam Samarpayami Shri Ganesha Namaha Shri Narasimhaya Namaha Shri Vishnu Namaha Shri Krishna Namaha Shri Shiva Namaha Shri Parvati Ma Namaha Jai Radha Namaha Jai Lakshmi Namaha Jai Saraswati Namaha Jai Durga Namaha Jai Kali Namaha. Om Deepam Samarpayami Shri Ganesha Namaha Shri Narasimha Shri Krishna Namaha. Shri Vishnu Namaha. Shri Shiva Namaha. Jai Parvati Ma Namaha. Jai Radha Namaha. Jai Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Jai Saraswati Aye Namaha. Jai Durga Ma Namaha. Jai Kali Ma Namaha. Om Jalam Samarpayami Shri Ganesha Namaha. Shri Narasimhaya Namaha. Shri Vishnu Namaha. Shri Krishna Namaha. Shri Shiva Namaha. Jai Parvati Ma Namaha. Jai Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Jai Saraswati Aye Namaha. Jai Durga Ma Namaha. Jai Kali Ma Namaha. Om Navidam Smarpayami Shri Ganesha Namaha. Shri Narasimhaya Namaha. Shri Vishnu Namaha. Shri Krishna Namaha. Shri Shiva Namaha. Jai Parvati Ma Namaha. Jai Radha Namaha. Jai Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Jai Saraswati Aye Namaha. Jai Durga Ma Namaha. Jai Kali Ma Namaha. Om Pushpam Samarpayami Shri Ganesha Namaha. Shri Narasimhaya Namaha. Shri Vishnu Namaha. Shri Krishna Namaha. Shri Shiva Namaha. Jai Radha Namaha. Jai Saraswati Aye Namaha. Jai Lakshmi Aye Namaha. Jai Saraswati Aye Namaha. Jai Durga Ma Namaha. Jai Kali Ma Namaha. Om Vastram Samarpayami Jai Radama Namaha Jai Lakshmi Aye Namaha Jai Kalima Namaha
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for coming to Saturday class to get ready for the long week ahead, or the short week, or the challenging week, or the joyful week, or all of those combined. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. At this point, Arjuna's been asking Krishna several questions, not really about spiritual things, just everyday life. And they're having a discussion about the instructions of life. So this continues. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" Krishna said, "The renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than the renunciation of work." When you renunciate work, it seems to me that you aren't going to get anything done. Renunciations by persons eager to achieve liberation of things which are related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though they are material, is called incomplete renunciation. Renunciation is complete when it is in the knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord, and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. Mayavadis are the ones with the philosophy that everybody is God, that you can become God if you study hard enough. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to always be renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. One who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his actions. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is the part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is quantitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire nor lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated, even in this material world. I've done a lot of restaurant work. I did restaurant work for over 20 years. And I learned that if you go to work without any type of assumptions, any type of plan, any type of, well, we're going to do this tonight, you're much happier and you're much less frustrated because anything can change at the drop of a hat. And if I had a plan of, well, I'm going to get this done and this done and this done and this done and this done, all of a sudden there's a lot of catering and I can't get my stuff done. And even though that didn't matter to me in the long run, I was still stressed out about this list that I had planned. And I didn't get to that list, and it doesn't matter. But if you just assume your role as trying to complete something without want of desire, you're much happier because you're not pushing your false ego onto these tasks that you shouldn't be emotionally involved in. Artists will suffer because the sketch doesn't look like the painting. The sketch is always going to be more alive and have that rawness and that hunger to get the artwork on the canvas. And a lot of people suffer in art because they can't get the feeling of the sketch onto the canvas. It looks good, but it's not what they wanted it to be. So they will complete it with this seed of doubt that they sowed themselves, that it's not as good as what it should be. And then if you ask somebody else about the painting, they'll just be like, "Man, that's incredible. That's an incredible painting. You're so talented." Only the ignorant speak of karma yoga and devotional service as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. One who knows that the position reached by means of renunciation can also be attained by works in devotional service, and who therefore sees that the path of works and the path of renunciation are one. They see things as they are. If you're working towards Krishna consciousness and you put your work towards Krishna, that is a form of spiritual renunciation. It's a pretty easy formula. Unless one is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, mere renunciation of activities cannot make one happy. The sages, purified by works of devotion, achieve the supreme without delay. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a person is ever entangled. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. They know very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach. The energy is automatically distributed throughout the body, because one who works in Krishna consciousness is a servant to all. They are very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by their work, they are in pure consciousness. And because they are in pure consciousness, the mind is completely controlled. And because the mind is controlled, all of the senses are controlled. And because the mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of being deviated from Krishna, nor is there a chance that they will engage their senses in matters other than in the service of the Lord. Someone who is of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anybody. A person in the divine consciousness, a person in the divine consciousness engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing always knows within themselves that they actually do nothing at all, because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, opening, or closing their eyes, they always know that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that they are aloof from them. One who performs their duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of the 9 gates, which is your body. Neither working or causing work to be done. The embodied spirit, master of the city of the body, does not create activities, nor do they induce people to act, nor do they create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Nor does the Supreme Spirit assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which a science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. A person who either rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is to be understood as already situated in transcendence. That doesn't mean to walk around without emotions or thoughts, or just to be super, super, super stoic. But it does tell us to observe the things that we cannot change, to try to change the things that we can change that are close to us, and to not get emotionally involved in the terrors of the world that you can't get to or help out with. That's hard for a lot of people, especially today. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure or external objects, but is always in trance in enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for they concentrate on the Supreme. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses, O son of Kunti. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, so the wise man does not delight in them. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is a yogi and happy in this world. One whose happiness is within, who is active within, who rejoices within, who is illuminated within, is actually the perfect mystic. They are liberated in the Supreme and ultimately attain the Supreme. One who is beyond duality and doubt, whose mind is engaged within, who is always busy working for the welfare of all sentient beings, and who is free from all sins, achieves liberation in the Supreme. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the future. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is in this state is almost certainly liberated. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. That is the conclusion of chapter 5. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. People will take that chapter and condense it down into don't feel, don't act, don't love, don't hate, see everything on this like mid-tone gray platform because you're separated from everything. You're a holy man on the mountain meditating and nothing can stop you. Well, you can't help people on the mountaintop. And service and seva and devotional service all have to do with helping people. The people on the mountaintop are trying to become God conscious by trying to become God, or renouncing everything so they're just a shell and that their physical duties are not being performed. You have a physical body and that must be taken care of, and you gotta exercise, you gotta work out, you have to move your body. Chanting exercises your spiritual body. It keeps your spiritual body fit. And scripture helps your mental body. Meditation in the Kali Yuga is not recommended 100%. There's a handful of yogis and holy people that separate themselves from the world and just meditate and are in trance and are on that spiritual platform, which is good for them and it helps them, but like I said, you aren't helping others, and we were put here to help others. We have to help ourselves before we can help others, but abandoning our duties to find the spiritual platform is cheating. Srila Prabhupada hated cheaters. He talks about it a lot. Your seva or your service is the most important thing you can offer to anybody in this life. And if you connect your service to Krishna, if you do everything in Krishna's name, if you offer everything to Krishna's, it's Krishna's anyways. Offering it is just offering your heart. It's like offering a big part of yourself. It's offering that transcendental love and that prema that is created within the heart center. When you offer everything to God, everything gets a lot easier. You don't have high expectations, and you don't have low expectations because you've already offered it to God. Music, art, dancing, writing, cooking, gardening, all of those activities that are creative activities that come from yourself, if you offer them to God, everything gets a lot easier. And you do work without result, without want of result. And when you work without want of result, A, you aren't disappointed because you're trying your best for God. You're like creating these things in God's name, doing your best for God. If I'm painting a picture for God, it's going to be good because it's for God. If I'm painting something that is tamasic or in the mode of ignorance, it's not going to be as good as I want it to be because it's not for that current. When you perform any type of service and you're in Krishna consciousness, which means you're striving to see God in all things, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you're striving to see the holy in all things, even the bad stuff. You're already working on your seva. You're already in the actions of your service. I'll be right back. I have to go get something. In the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about surrendering and mercy and being devoted and offering service. And the scriptures say that once somebody decides to become a Vaishnava, that their whole ancestral line rejoices, and that all sins are forgiven through your ancestral line and in the future, because time goes like this, and it also comes out, and it's a lot. It's a flat circle for sure. Vaishnavas chant Hare Krishna. We were referred to as Hare Krishnas. If somebody asks me if I'm a Hare Krishna, I say yes, because that's the easier answer. But the proper name is Vaishnavism. In the 60s and 70s, when Srila Prabhupada came to the US to spread Krishna consciousness, he had to do a lot of condensing because there's so many scriptures, there's so many holy books, and him and his team had to condense a lot of information into flyers and small pamphlet books, and I think that receiving something like that, and it's chock full of information, is such a blessing, because it's the condensed Vani. Vani means vibration. It's the condensed vibration of the teachings. So even though this is a Xeroxed pamphlet, it contains the Vani of Srila Prabhupada. And I'm going to read it because this is one of my favorite pamphlets. Hare Krishna's chant Hare Krishna. That's our main Yuga Dharma. That's what we're supposed to do. It's the quickest way to transcendental liberation. It's the quickest way to get on that spiritual path. It is a blessing that we even have mouths to chant Hare Krishna. So this is called On Chanting Hare Krishna, and it was compiled in the 60s. On Chanting Hare Krishna by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Also referred reverently as the Maha Mantra or the Great Mantra, is a 16-word Vaishnava mantra which first appeared in the Kali Sanatarana Upanishad, and which from the 15th century rose to importance in the Bhakti movement following the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this short essay recorded on his first LP in late 1966, Srila Prabhupada illuminates the inner meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra. The transcendental vibration established by the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the sublime method for reviving our transcendental consciousness. As living spiritual souls, we are originally Krishna conscious entities, but due to our association with matter since time immemorial, our consciousness is now adulterated by the material atmosphere. The material atmosphere in which we are now living is called Maya, or illusion. Maya means that which is not. And what is this illusion? The illusion is that we are all trying to be lords of material nature, while actually we are under the grip of her stringent laws. When a servant artificially tries to imitate the all-powerful master, he is said to be an illusion. In this polluted concept of life, we are all trying to exploit the sources of material nature. But actually, we are becoming more and more entangled in her complexities. Therefore, although we are engaged in a hard struggle to conquer nature, we are ever more dependent on her. This illusion is called Maya, or hard struggle for existence in winning over the stringent laws of material nature. This illusory struggle against material nature can be stopped at once by the revival of our eternal Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare is the transcendental process for reviving this original pure consciousness. By chanting this transcendental vibration, we can cleanse away all misgivings within our hearts. The basic principle of all such misgivings is the false consciousness that I am the Lord of all I survey. Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. This consciousness is the original natural energy of the living entity. When we hear the transcendental vibration, this consciousness is revived. This simplest method is recommended for this age of the Kali Yuga. By practical experience also, one can perceive that by chanting this Maha Mantra, or the great chanting for deliverance, one can feel at once a transcendental ecstasy coming through from the spiritual stratum. In the material concept of life, we are busy in this matter of sense gratification as if we were in the lower animal stage. A little elevated from this status of sense gratification, one is engaged in mental speculation for the purpose of getting out of the material clutches. A little elevated from this speculative status, when one is intelligent enough, one tries to find the supreme causes of all causes within and without. And when one is factually on the plane of spiritual understanding, surpasses the stages of sense, mind, and intelligence, he is then situated on the transcendental plane. This chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is directly enacted from the spiritual platform, and thus this sound vibration surpasses all lower states of consciousness, namely sensual, mental, and intellectual. There is no need, therefore, to understand the language of the mantra, nor is there any need for mental speculation, nor any intellectual adjustment for chanting this Maha Mantra. It is automatic from the spiritual platform, and as such, anyone can take part in the chanting without any previous qualification and dance in ecstasy. We have seen this practically. Even a child can take part in the chanting, or a dog can take part in it. In a more advanced stage, of course, one is not expected to commit offenses on grounds of spiritual understanding. In the beginning, there may not be the presence of all transcendental ecstasies, which are 8 in number. These are being stopped as though speechless, perspiration, standing up of hairs on the body, dislocation of voice, trembling, fading of the body, crying in ecstasy, and trance. But there is no doubt that chanting for a while takes one immediately to the spiritual platform, and one shows the first symptom of this in the urge to dance along with the chanting of the Maha Mantra. We have seen this as well practically. Even a child can take part in the chanting of the dancing. Of course, for one who is too entangled in material life, it takes a little more time to come to the standard point, but even such a materially engrossed man is raised to the spiritual platform very quickly. When the mantra is chanted by a pure devotee of the Lord in love, it has the greatest effect on the hearer, and such this chanting should be heard from the lips of a pure devotee of the Lord, so that immediate effects can be achieved. As far as possible, chanting from the lips of non-devotees should be avoided. Milk touched by the lips of the serpent has poisonous effects. The word hara is the form of addressing the energy of the Lord, and the words Krishna and Rama are both forms of addressing the Lord himself. Both Krishna and Rama means the supreme pleasure, and hara is the supreme pleasure energy of the Lord, changed to hare in the vocative. The supreme pleasure energy of the Lord helps us reach the Lord. This material energy called Maya is also one of the multi energies of the Lord, and we the living entities are also the energy and the marginal energy of the Lord. The living entities are described as superior to material energy. When the superior energy is in contact with the inferior energy, an incompatible situation arises. But when the superior marginal energy is in contact with the superior energy, hara, it is established in its happy, normal condition. These three words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama, are the transcendental seeds of the Maha Mantra. The chanting is a spiritual call for the Lord and his energy to give protection to the conditioned soul. This chanting is exactly like the genuine cry of a child for its mother's presence. Mother Hara helps the devotee achieve the Lord Father's grace, and the Lord reveals himself to the devotee who chants this mantra sincerely. No other means of spiritual realization is as effective in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy as is the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if anybody asks why we chant, you just sit them down and you read this pamphlet to them. And you see, that's why. But, you know, reading about chanting and hearing others talk about chanting is not the same as chanting. It can inspire others to chant, but the actual act of chanting is the important part. One of my students was talking about how, you know, there's days where he doesn't feel like chanting, And those are the most important days to chant, especially when you don't feel like it. It benefits you every single time. It's always a good idea. And the benefits are extremely helpful every single time. Excuse me 1 second. And chanting benefits everyone. I talk about this all the time. It benefits your kids. It benefits your grandkids, your grandparents, children that haven't been born yet. It benefits your pets and your home. It cleanses the atmosphere. I mean, why do you think that devotees go on chanting sprees in the ghetto, in like New York City and Chicago? Those are the people that need to hear the Maha Mantra. You don't go to spiritually clean, pristine places to chant. You go to where it needs to be cleaned up. Those are the people that need to hear the Maha Mantra. Those are the areas that needs to hear the Maha Mantra. Downtown Boston. Downtown Philadelphia is probably the worst place I've been. That place needs to hear the Maha Mantra. And there's devotees doing Harinam Sankirtan in downtown Philadelphia, unarmed. Just going through there, chanting Hare Krishna, handing out books, because the books contain the Vani, that transcendental vibration, the unadulterated current of the holy name. It's all contained in all of these books, and handing somebody a book is going to change their life. Hearing someone hearing someone chant is going to plant that seed. Maybe not in this life. Maybe it's going to take several lives. It could happen instantly. A lot of the times it happens this lifetime, and it changes their whole life. Chanting is a direct connection. It's a direct line with God and the energy of God. And it's beautiful that we were given this gift in a Kali Yuga, because there's a lot of disciplines, a lot of practices that take a lot of time, knowledge, degrees of separation, that you'll spend your whole lifetime learning. But the instructions of the spiritual master that are given in the immediate moment are the important ones. And Krishna said to Arjuna, he's like, there's all these austerities and there's all these paths, but this is what you need to do now. And what we need to do now is to chant Hare Krishna and to talk about Krishna and to talk about the Vani of the spiritual master, and incorporate Krishna consciousness into everything that we do, especially into acts of service. So, with all that talking done, Let's chant one round of the Maha Mantra. The first bead is the Guru bead. So the one that you give your prayers to the Guru on. I give my humble obeisances to my spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who pulled me out of the ocean of suffering and misery. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. All right, we'll take a short break and then we'll do kirtan, which is the congregational chanting of the holy name. Japa is chanting on beads, chanting in meditation. Kirtan is the congregational chanting. But there is no kirtan without japa. Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Well, who's gonna play what?
Are we doing the musical thing?
Don't do that.
Arrange this so it's
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna